Kia ora. Still a little bit more cloud around those eastern parts of the country. You can see a bit more cloud there in towards Canterbury, but more so around Wellington and towards parts of Hawke's Bay and Tairafti. But elsewhere, there's plenty of clear sky and relatively settled looking at Story as we head through the rest of the afternoon for Thursday. Plenty of clear sky down south, staying just about dry for many of us. And even on the North Island, although we've got those showers in towards the ranges and in towards parts of Hawke's Bay and Gisborne, we should find for many of us it's a dry Story with some fine weather returning as we head through the daytime. And for most of us, it stays dry overnight as well into those early hours of Friday morning. Plenty of clear sky across particularly places like Canterbury up towards Nelson and Marlborough, and I think across many parts of the North Island as well. We will, though, still be keeping hold of more cloud, just feeding in on those southeasterly winds around that eastern side of the North Island. Now, in terms of our temperatures tonight, we'll find our temperatures back down to lows into single figures through parts of Canterbury, Otago and Southland, and even in towards some of those more inland areas on the North Island, where you get those clearer skies and some lighter winds through the night. We could find our minimum temperatures back down to about 7 degrees Celsius, a place like Taumarunui. But I think for many of us it isn't a bad looking night, staying dry with some nice clear skies. Heading on in towards Friday, well, you can see we still have a few showers around the far northern parts, but for most of the North Island, things are dry. There's plenty of clear skies through parts of Canterbury, Nelson, Marlborough, more cloud on that western coast, and we have got a few spots of rain. Now, rainfall totals, particularly across this eastern side, in places like Southland and Otago, not going to add up to an awful lot. But for the parts of Fiordland, we'll find some scattered rain with that next front as that runs up towards us through the daytime. But again, for many of us, it's a dry looking day, but with just a touch more cloud, especially across those more western parts of the South Island. Taking a look on the North Island now, you can see we've got plenty of clear sky to start a day from Northland down towards Wellington. There is a bit more cloud still with us through parts of Hawke's Bay and Tairafti. That will clear away, as will any showers. And for many of us, it's a fine looking Story. You can see that we have got this next area of cloud, or these areas of cloud pushing in towards the west as we go through the daytime on Friday, and more especially into the evening. Places like Taranaki, up in towards parts of, say, Horowhenua and Manawatu, just seeing a little bit more cloud later on. But generally, Friday, for many of us on the North Island, a fine day, plenty of sunshine, and our daytime temperatures climbing quite nicely in places like the Bay of Plenty and those northern parts of Northland, 25 to about 27 degrees Celsius. A little bit cooler where you get those winds coming in off the sea. So for New Plymouth, highs there of 22 degrees Celsius, but generally a pretty decent day. And overnight temperatures as we head on in towards the weekend, a degree or so warmer than we'll see to start the day first thing on Friday. Heading down towards the South Island, again, you can see there's plenty of sunshine through Nelson and down through Marlborough, and for most of Canterbury and Otago to start the day. As we head in towards the afternoon, some higher cloud will feed across towards those areas, but it'll stay dry. Down that western coast, perhaps a few showers. Not huge amounts, has to be said, and I think most of the showers or wetter weather will be about the tops of the ranges or in towards those southern parts, in towards Fiordland. But I think we will find it's a touch more cloudy on that western coast, and we'll see out towards the east. And underneath some of that higher cloud through parts of, say, central Otago, we could find a few spots of rain. Not huge amounts again, but I think a touch more cloud through there and a small or two of rain as we head through the daytime. More so that we'll find some showers down towards Stewart Island as we head in towards the afternoon. Now with our temperatures, again, the warmest temperatures out towards the eastern side, places like Christchurch back up to 23 degrees Celsius, but with the best of the sunshine and some of that warmer weather up towards Blenheim. Highs here of 27 degrees Celsius, a fine looking Story in Marlborough. Another dry day for you, and I think it's another very warm one as well. Our overnight temperatures, again, like the North Island, warmer as we head through the nighttime Friday into Saturday morning. Speaking of Saturday though, how's it looking for the weekend? Well, we will find this front moving northwards. Ahead of that, some stronger winds, something to watch out for as we head through the daytime. You can see though, a lot of the wetter weather, perhaps on towards that western coast, still dry out towards the east. And as we head towards the end of the day on Saturday, we'll find the skies turning cloudier through parts of, say, Taranaki, Wanganui and down towards Wellington, and some showers arriving there towards the end of the day. Head northwards, the Bay of Plenty, Taupo, and towards Rotorua as well, looking like a great looking Saturday, and a pretty decent story on that eastern coast as well. But as this front moves northwards, watch out for those winds increasing, especially through Cook Strait and towards parts of the South Island. We will find that windier weather with us And it means we'll start off pretty windy for Sunday as well. As this front moves up and across, we could find some heavier rainfall through parts of, say, Taranaki in that central high country. So it's worth keeping an eye on the severe weather watches and warnings. This first front clears away, things settling down for a time behind that. You can see some brightness and some sunshine back with us for the South Island. However, by the end of Sunday, that next front waiting to come back towards us does spark rather a windy, unsettled story for the first few days of next week. And with the air coming back up from the south, I think we will find the return to some much cooler weather as well. Perhaps even the return of some snowfall by the tops of the Southern Alps. So worth keeping an eye on the forecast for the start of next week. I think things are looking pretty unsettled. It could kick March off. That's it from me. There's more at metservice.com.